El Paso is a jewel in the Texas desert. Nestled between the rugged Franklin Mountains and the historic Rio Grande, this dynamic border community combines the advantages of a major metropolitan center with the ambiance and neighborly charm of a modern western town. Hi, so I'm David Salcedo. I'm a fourth generation business owner here for my family business, the Salcedo Law Company. My great-grandfather started back in 1917. I myself am an accountant by trade. I graduated from Notre Dame. I worked in the private sector for a little while. And I just had the calling, I had the itch to come back into the family business and do something here. And so I've been here working alongside with my dad, my brother, my family. And it's something really special. The family business is really special, and if you work in a family business, I think you understand what I'm talking about. But it feels good to be here and contribute to El Paso. So El Paso is like no place else in the entire world. We are the largest international city on a border. And what's interesting about the demographics here in El Paso is that we have this binational, bicultural conversation, and the influx of capital from our brothers and sisters across the border and vice versa from both sides of the border has really helped and contribute to our economy. So being a small business owner here in El Paso certainly is difficult. However, if you find that niche, you'll find success here in El Paso, and the diverse economy of El Paso is fantastic. I believe that if you can make it here in El Paso, you can make it anywhere.
I was born and raised here in El Paso, went to Austin High School, and then on to UTEP to earn a business degree in accounting. I started here with El Paso Water Utilities in the accounting department, worked my way up through the accounting department, eventually becoming the CFO. And at that point in time, I was responsible for the budget, for accounting, purchasing, customer service. And then I promoted to a vice president, which I added human resources, IT, and land administration. So pretty much all the business side of what the utility does is what I'm responsible for. I think El Paso is a great city when it comes to small business, and there is a lot of opportunity here. You could say that not having the large corporate companies here in El Paso is a bad thing, but actually I think it's a good thing because then it allows for the stimulation of small business entrepreneurship. Here at the utility, I've been fortunate with purchasing being one of the areas I'm responsible for. We have a very active hub program here for historically underutilized businesses, and so we very much emphasize using the local small minority-owned businesses here in El Paso, and we try to do that at every opportunity that we can. So I think there is great opportunity here in El Paso for small businesses. And I think El Paso is a prime example for the country when it comes to diversity. We've been a diversified community forever, and so we kind of take it for granted here, but really I think the whole country should be looking at what we're doing here in El Paso as far as diversity. You have, minorities, you have women-owned businesses, and they're all working hand in hand together. So I think that we show that it can be done and you can work together to make a better community.
I'm a former military officer who arrived in El Paso in 1980, did my initial schooling here, and then went and did assignments. I got restationed here in 1990 and retired here, and then decided to go into business after a couple years with Lockheed Martin. Well, I was fortunate that in my military career, I was trained in a technical discipline, and I used that as a launching pad for my business here in El Paso. So we do defense contracting and consulting for the government and provide technical performance and services. Well, I love the city of El Paso. We made the decision to stay here. I often get asked, why don't you base yourself out of Washington, D.C.? It's close to where you're from, or why don't you base yourself out of Huntsville, Alabama? It's where the majority of some of the technical work is done that we perform. But really, El Paso is just a great community. It's a beautiful place to raise a family. So my kids work in the business, they're here. My grandkids are here. But more importantly, a the people of El Paso are great employees. And so we found with the mix of local El Pasoans with strong professional technical disciplines, along with some of our military veterans, makes a great team and a great community.
I am an attorney here in El Paso. I was born and raised here in El Paso. When I was 18, I left to Chicago to go to college, and I was there for about 9 years. And then when I decided I wanted to open my own practice, that's when I came back to El Paso, and I've been back here for about 6 years now. Well, I think El Paso is, it's a lot of people have a misconception about what El Paso is, especially some people try to portray it as being a dangerous border city, but I think El Paso is so much more than that, and I think it really is at the forefront of a lot of things. Part of my business, I work a lot with musicians, and I think El Paso is what Austin was. I think it's what Nashville was when it was just beginning. I think it's a hub of a lot of things that are coming up, and as far as diversity, I mean, you don't find a more diverse place. When I was growing up here, I didn't know that there were people who were racist. I didn't know those kinds of things because people here are so multicultural. I mean, you go out and people speak to you in Spanish, and it's a beautiful thing. It's not a bad thing. And so we learn to live with each other in different cultures. And so I think that only creates more diverse people. It creates more opening and welcoming people. So I think El Paso definitely is the hub for many great things to come because of that diversity. If you look at any of the border towns, we're coming up with some of the things that the whole country wants to hear, some Spanish music, or the food that we have here. Whenever anybody comes to visit El Paso, they always fall in love with it, and a lot of them end up staying. I mean, we have a lot of military people who end up staying in El Paso, so El Paso is definitely, I think, a place that it's like a black hole in a good way, in that you get sucked in and you want to stay and you want to be surrounded by that warmth and that comfort. And it really is like home for people who aren't even from here.
My name is Paul Dipp. I'm president of Economy Cash and Carry, a native El Pasoan that is raised, educated, and has had the opportunity to work in this incredible city and incredible borderplex throughout my career. Economy Cash and Carry was conceived as a result of an opportunity to do international trade based on the fact that we're adjacent to Juarez, Mexico. And we felt that there was an opportunity for international commerce not only here, but also in the rest of the Southwest. And in fact, Economy does serve different states in the Republic of Mexico and different states in the United States that are border points for entry into Mexico. We saw a need there to do that opportunity of business back in 1958. Very proud to let everyone know that we're celebrating our 60th year next year. El Paso, Texas is a dynamic, diverse mosaic of international trade. It provides a perfect platform for people that care to do business in an international way, but it also, many other known facts is there's many other groups and ethnicities that are represented in the city. So we have a very broad culture, a very accepting culture, and it's considered one community with our sister city of Juarez, Mexico, and for that fact, our neighboring country in Mexico. It's a outstanding platform for any successful person that would like to start out because of the kind entry into the marketplace due to the supportive nature of the infrastructure of the city from an economic standpoint and the opportunity to do startup businesses and also to grow your existing businesses.
Being one of the few female-owned body shops here in town sort of sets us apart from a lot of the other companies. You just don't see a lot of us out there, but we're not alone. There are a couple more in town, and you're seeing other businesses diversify here in El Paso. You have tons of minority-owned businesses owned by women. Even I have a friend that has a co-op business going now. So El Paso really has this ability to diversify the businesses that we bring in here, and I think a lot of it has to do that we are on the border and we have this different culture that sort of influxes into into our population here. And so being one of the few female-owned body shops hasn't been something that's like, oh my gosh, there's, that's odd or strange. It's like I've been greeted with open arms with the concept. Don't be discouraged. Going into business for yourself is hard, but if you're going to do anything, first do it with passion, and then make connections. So many people decide that they want to go into business for themselves, and they don't think they need other people to help them. And what I found is the more people you know, and the more people that know about you and understand what you're about, those people are going to help you to succeed. And so I really think making connections with other small businesses, people from the Hispanic Chamber, those connections are by far one of the best things that I've done for my business, and what I think most people should look at when they're looking at opening a small business.
We are El Paso.
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 Somos El Paso.
Being rich in history, in culture, and most importantly in diversity, El Paso is definitely the place for small business.